Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A. This will be the second one for this week, leading up to Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 7. This one we're going to start with whether or not Bran is responsible for, well, everything. Okay, and thank you guys for sending me your questions. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen episode 6 yet for Game of Thrones Season 6. So only 4 episodes left of this season of Game of Thrones, but it's been a pretty incredible season already, and looks like it's going to end really strong. Hopefully we're seeing the final battle between the Bastard Bowl, Jon versus Ramsay. So in this one, the first one is a lot of people have asked me to give my thoughts on Bran, what I think about the timeline, and kind of how he's affected things and how much impact he's had. In episode 6, we see a flashback sequence as he's out of it and being dragged and everything, and we get to see Aerys, we get to see Jaime quickly, kind of, sort of, you don't get to see like his face or anybody, killing Aerys, the Mad King. You get to see the wildfire and everything, and all kinds of craziness. It's a really fast clip, but there's a lot of really juicy scenes in it that are really important. I'm surprised it didn't slow that down and give us a little bit more, because those are some pretty important moments in Game of Thrones. So to see that is pretty awesome. Now the question becomes: is Bran responsible for it? Just as the same as when we see what happens with Hodor. Has Bran, impacted the past? Has he, when he says his dad's name and he turns and kind of looks as if he hears it? Has Bran inadvertently somehow channeled back and caused all these events to occur from, maybe Aerys driving him mad? Was he the one who drove him mad? The burn everything type deal. And of course, because with the White Walkers, they have to burn them. So has he sort of somehow sent back messages and voices, and has it somehow gotten into Aerys' head, causing him to go into this? And kind of similar situation with Hodor, Hold the Door, right? So it's pretty interesting. I really like it. Now, I think there are some interesting things with it, and some things we can make some weird assumptions based on it. Because usually when you have something that happens with regards to time travel, what you'll have is your story or your timeline will go through one way, and then when you have the kind of time travel part, it will come back, and then it will fork. Meaning, so Hodor will go through. You would usually have it like this: the entire story Hodor would go through, and he would be normal. And then once that event happens here, it would impact the past, and the time would fork, meaning it would go off in a new time stream that's different than the one that we saw originally. So if that event at this time point with Bran and Hodor holding the door had done that before, then it would fork, and from then on, Hodor would just say Hodor all the time and have that be it. But of course, that's not what happens in Game of Thrones. Hodor, from the beginning, is like that for us as viewers when we get it started with watching Game of Thrones. So that's pretty interesting. So what is going on there if it's not your kind of classical kind of time stream fork? If the future impact has kind of happened in the past, but yet it happened in the past before it happened in the future. Kind of crazy. Granted, time travel is most likely impossible, right? So it's interesting to think of logically, though, and how that could work. Granted, if you get magic involved, as soon as you put magic into it, logic gets thrown out the window. It's magic, right? But usually you would think either that or they're in some kind of a time loop, and this is not the first iteration through. Now, it's a little bit advanced, and you kind of have to understand. You have to know at least the basics of your time stream and how things get impacted and when they fork and change, and it wouldn't be until that point back, and boom, it should fork at that point. So anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a fun thing to at least ponder about, to think on, and it's magic, so you can't really use logic with it. But it's not. It wouldn't be illogical to say that we must not have seen the first time stream go through if after Hodor was actually, beforehand, before, after. So, anyway, interesting. But is Bran responsible for everything? I pretty much say, yeah, I think so. Even if it isn't that he's responsible, even if he didn't drive the Mad King mad, which we may see more on as the series goes through. I'd like to see maybe something else happen with him where he's under some dire straits or something, and we see him go back to Ares and have it cross over. Give us a little bit more, because I don't think there's enough to say it concretely after episode 6 of season 6, but and episode 5 too. But I feel like we got to see a little bit more to give us that idea that he did in fact cause the Mad King to go mad and cause everything to happen after that. Even if he didn't, and it was the start of Game of Thrones when he goes up and he's climbing, and Cat warns him, no more climbing. He climbs anyway, and Jaime sees him and pushes him, and then it starts this whole catalyst of Cat and takes Tyrion, and everything else happens, and it tries to assassinate, and then the whole thing spins out of control. Before you know it, it's all war of the Five Kings, and everything goes on. So one way or another, he's at least responsible for the majority of the war and what starts happening in Game of Thrones. Granted, there was other, Daenerys really doesn't have much to do with it anyway, but she probably always would have done what she's going to do anyway. She's a conqueror, as it seems, and so he's not responsible for absolutely everything. But I'd say one way or another, whether you think he has impacted, he has somehow his kind of his powers and what he's done was actually what drove the Mad King mad. Whether or not you see it that way, you can't deny that he, at least in the physical, has caused. It was like a catalyst for this whole thing to unwind, just simply due to his climbing. So I think Bran really is the troublemaker of Game of Thrones. I think he's responsible for. You can just blame him for everything if you want to, and you can make a case for most of it. So great question. Anybody who asked, I didn't write down any names, but I know a lot of you guys that ask questions about Bran and hear my thoughts on it. So that's it. So I do hold him responsible for most of the events of Game of Thrones in one way or another. Next one's from Dr. Neek, and he actually has a picture of Dr. Neek from The Simpsons, so that's funny. And he says, the High Sparrow will convince Tommen to be the Faith's champion. He will say something like, if your mother truly loves you, she will not fight you and will confess and be cleansed of her sins. It just got like 20 thumbs up. Something crazy like that. But if she fights, if he fights, it will fulfill her prophecy, and Jaime will kill her for going effing batshit crazy and killing the last kid. So if the High Sparrow could talk Tommen into fighting Gregor, I just don't see that happening. But it's funny to think of, like, would she have the Mountain kill him, or would she tell him to stand down and let Tommen kill, so sacrificing herself? So would she put herself above Tommen, is really what you're asking. And that's a good question. I think she, based on her, that's tough. You'd like to think a mother would always give themselves for their kids if they had the opportunity. But Cersei, I don't know, man. Maybe she'd be, I'll just have another kid or something. Whatever. I don't know. I could see her doing that. I really could. She's pretty twisted and evil, so it's what it is. And Ovde Blizu says, Trev, will you do a face reveal at 200,000 subscribers? I don't understand what that is. I don't understand what you guys are asking me to do. A lot of people have asked me to do this. I don't understand what you want from me. What is a face reveal? Is that something where, like, somebody has a gaming channel and they show what they look like after a certain amount of subscribers? This is me. What you guys see on camera, what you hear me say, the things I think and the things I do in my reviews and talk about in Q&As and myself, that's me. I'm not fake on camera. I'm not different on camera. Sometimes off camera, I may be in kind of a worse mood, and I try to be happy on camera because who the hell wants to sit here and watch me do a Q&A? Okay, next question is going to be this. That's not fun for anybody. So, but you're seeing me when you watch the channel. There's nothing, it's me, man. I don't know what you want me to say. There's nothing to reveal. I am who I am. It's what it is. Next one's from Bears fan 1323, and he sees Cleganebowl. He says, Cleganebowl, checklist. Cersei, check. The Faith, check. Trial by combat, check. The Mountain, check. The Hound, question mark. So I think soon we're going to be able to check, man. And that should make it one of the coolest. I didn't think any sword fight or battle would ever beat the Mountain versus Oberyn. But I feel like if they do a brother versus brother for, Cersei, I think that tops it. I really do. I think that would be just the topping for sure. Next one's from the Kev Prescott. He says, I personally think the broken man is Loras Tyrell, and we'll find out that he spilled the secrets of Tyrell's involvement in Joffrey's murder, which is, I assume, the secret the High Sparrow told Tommen, who then told Cersei. So basically, Cersei will annihilate the Tyrells and the Faith. I can see it. I don't know, man. That's a pretty big prediction. We'll see if you're right. But the Broken Man could be Loras, and a lot of people left that in the comments. And you're probably right. That's a good candidate for it. Or it could have a few meanings and not necessarily refer to just one character. So we'll see. Alex H. says, we need to get more fighting scenes with Franken Mountain before Cleganebowl so we really see how powerful he is. I agree. I love when he crushed that guy's head. Everything he does is so awesome, man, because he's so powerful. So yeah, I'd love to see some more of him as well too. It's kind of weird how the Mountain, like, they've changed actors so many times for him throughout the series. I get a different feel, but the guy they had, the strongman they had for the last Mountain, he was the best. I think, he was the best. And definitely the guy who at Harrenhal, the one who played that one, he was too proper, and like he didn't look crazy enough and big enough, and he was tall, but he wasn't like, he was too like organized for the Mountain for me. I kind of think of the Mountain to be a rage monster, mad dog, so to speak. Got simply the best as Trev. Thrones is the best. He always trolls me every time. Game of Thrones is the best, Trev. You know it, man. It's pretty awesome, man. It's pretty much. Yeah, it's the best. It's awesome. Lyrian Tannister says, Lyrian Tannister, I like that. I have a question. Why do you giggle like a girl all the time? Lyrian, I try to have fun, okay? I try, man. I try. What the heck? What do you want from me? What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm trying, man. Try to have fun. Jerk. Clinton Poole says, I hope we see Lady Stoneheart, but I don't think they will do it in the show since we haven't seen her earlier in the series. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think at this point, it's too late. I don't think we're going to ever see Lady Stoneheart in the series. And last one will be from K-Chan. That'll be it for this week until, of course, tomorrow night's brand new episode. And then we'll do the review and do another couple Q&As next week. And K-Chan says, nobody's saying squat about Sam's new Valyrian steel sword. The only people with swords that can kill White Walkers are Brienne, and then he says Jon, Jaime, and Sam. But I think people argued the Jaime one because did he give his up? I'm not sure. I'd have to look back. But, there's not much to say about Sam. He's not that useful with a sword, and he may actually lose it. So we'll see. But it will be cool to see if he can actually hang on to it for a while and actually use that. Plus, Sam's kind of a closet badass. He doesn't seem like it, but he's done some crazy stuff. Yeah, and he's doing his damn thing. I like Sam now, man. Sam's really cool. Even though his parts of the episode might not be the most exciting, I still, I like Sam. He's Jolly Sam. He's good. He's a good guy. It's what it is. And that'll be it for today's Q&A. If you guys liked it, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to thumb it up. You can share a fave. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, just past 200,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for all the happy wishes and everything. The response was amazing. You guys are the best. Love you guys. You're all awesome. New people, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one today. I'll see you guys again, of course, tomorrow for another video. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. See you guys.
You better subscribe.